Okay, this video is going to teach you about simplifying expressions. Now that you know what terms, like terms, constants, coefficients, variables are, you can use that to simplify expressions. So here I have two expressions that I used before, and we are going to simplify them. In order to simplify, you combine the like terms. So you look for, first you have to identify which terms are alike, and then you add the coefficients, or the numbers that are out in front. So this is how I like to do it. What I like to do is I say, all right, I'm going to identify them by boxing the ones that are alike. Now notice that I included that sign out in front. So in other words, I'm saying that's a positive 3x and a 2x. The way that you combine the like terms is that you ignore the variable and say, all right, I'm combining here a 2 and a positive 3. Think of it as adding them. Now, we can do this in this order because our commutative property of addition says that you can add numbers in any order. You can move them around and add them in any order. Now, that's one of the reasons you've learned commutative property. You may not have known it, but this is why it's helpful. So I have 3 and 2 would give me a 5. The variable stays the same. And then what's left over is this positive 5. So 2x plus 5 plus 3x simplifies to 5x plus 5. Now look at the next one. I have here 3x and I have negative x. It's really important for you to identify that that's a negative. And remember also that there is a 1 in front there. So now when I'm combining these like terms, I have a 3 and a negative 1. If I added those, it would give me a 2. Variable stays the same. This comes down, plus 2y, and then I bring this down, plus 5. When we put these, when we write these down, these simplified expressions, the order does matter. We like to have the variables in alphabetical order and then have the constant term on the end. If you had exponents, so in other words, you had x squared, and then you had x, and then you would have your constant. You put the one with the highest power first, okay? You probably are not going to run into that now, but you will later, so that's just a good thing to remember. Let's move on to a more challenging problem. This one right here. This is challenging because the minus a negative right here. This is the only time I suggest you make some changes before you actually simplify. So I would change this to negative 2x plus y. Remember that minus a negative becomes plus a positive. They cancel each other out. Plus 7 plus y. Now I can identify the like terms. I have a negative 2x. I have a positive 5x. But now I have y's as well. I'm not going to put a rectangle around those because they are not like the x's, but these are like terms. So I'm going to circle those. So what I'm combining now is I have a negative 2 and a positive 5 would give me a 3. The variable stays the same. Then I go to the y's. Remember, I have a 1 and a 1. So the 1y plus 1y means I have 2 y's. And then plus 7 on the end. Cool, huh? One more. And this one I want you to try. So pause the video, write this one down, and try it on your own. Pause the video. All right. First thing, hopefully you did this. Negative 20y plus 12x plus 3x because the double negative there. Minus 5 minus 2y. Now I'm going to identify the like terms. I have a negative 20y. You don't have to start here with the x, guys. I know some of you are probably thinking that. I have a negative 2y. Then I have a positive 12x and a positive 3x. Now, when I simplify it, I'm going to start with the x because x comes first in the alphabet, and we like to have that first. So it's just a preference thing, but it really doesn't matter in the end. So I have 12 and 3. If I add those together, it gives me 15. The variable stays the same. And then I have a negative 20 and a negative 2. When I add those together, it gives me a negative 22. Notice that I just wrote that as subtraction because that is the same thing as plus a negative 22y, okay? But writing it as subtraction like that, it looks better. If that doesn't make sense to you, rewind the video a little bit and look at that again because that's kind of important. I'm combining a negative 20 and a negative 2 gives me a negative 22, and I just wrote it as subtraction because that is plus a negative. And then I have minus 5. Okay? So that becomes 15x minus 22y minus 5. That is all. Goodbye, my friends.